All right, so let's talk about our hands. So very useful, right? Your hands are so useful for drinking or eating or saying hi to people, for clapping, throwing, catching, all that fun stuff. But why are they so awkward when we public speak? This is something our clients will express to us that they don't know what to do with their hands. So if you are often confused and don't know what to do with your hands, listen to this video because we're going to talk about it. So for those who don't know me, my name is Marina. I am a professional communication coach and American English pronunciation instructor. So, and I'm also a speech language pathologist. I don't know why I forgot about that. So, all right, let's talk about our hands. So, I'm going to give you 5 quick tips about what you can do with them and why. So, the very first thing is take your hands out of your pocket. They should be visible. You should not be hiding things. Don't put your hands behind your back. It's going to confuse your audience. If you use your hands effectively with purpose, the flow of your presentation or your speech is going to be so much more smoother. It's going to give the audience the perception that you are more at ease and are more comfortable versus tensing or hiding or holding on to something. Do not hold on to something. Because what if you start tensing and you break something in your hands, like a pen, and ink goes everywhere? That has happened. I know people that has happened to, and it wasn't good. Also, sometimes when you get nervous, you tend to fidget. This is very distracting when you're giving a presentation, or we do this. Again, very distracting, kind of annoying. It takes away from what you are saying. So show your hands, don't put anything in them is tip number 1. All right, tip number 2, palms up, palms up. So in Vanessa Van Edwards' book, I think it was Cues or Captivate. I think it was Cues. I love her. Go check her books out. Check out her videos. She talks about showing your palms. Palms means, in her words, friends. I am safe. So think about when a robber, like in the movies, when a robber gets caught by the police, what do? They drop what they, hopefully, they drop what they have, show palms, right? That's what we show the police, that we're safe. There's no weapons in our hands, and it kind of goes back to prehistoric days, but we're not going to get into that. But by showing your palms, you are giving the sense to your audience that you are safe. I'm a friend. You help build trust between you and your audience, and therefore they are better able to listen to you, because if you are a safe speaker, a safe person, and you build trust, they are not going to be feeling uncomfortable or anxious, which could cause a rise in cortisol levels. Therefore, they're not going to be able to retain your information that much. So again, show your palms. All right, the third helpful tip I have for you is use your hands like a highlighter. So think back when you are reading and you have a highlighter. What do? You highlight the more important parts of the book that you're reading or article. And that is because when you have to go back to reference that book, you want to remember the key pieces, right? So do the same thing with your hands. You want to make sure that you are highlighting the most important parts. So if there is one big idea with 3 key details, what my hands just did was tell you, like, hey, I have this one big idea and it's going to require 3. So 1 and 3. So it helps the audience know that something big is coming up and helps them to get ready and organized to prep for the information that you are going to give them. It's also very helpful too to highlight or to show adjectives. So it was a big growth, but not so much, not so much regression, right? So again, showing some of those adjectives. I'm not sure if that sentence made sense, but you kind of get the point. Or it was too far away. It did not come close. It was not above me, but below. But I wish it was just right. So again, highlight some of those locational words, some of those adjectives, so that your points are memorable and that you can, again, help paint that picture with your hands. All right, helpful tip number 4, do not point to anyone in the audience. Just be careful with that, with pointing. If you need to point to, let's say, a presentation image that you're talking about, fine, but just be careful about pointing to someone specifically in your audience that does not know they're going to be spotlighted. So remember, The audience is there to learn from you, to hear what you have to say. And if you divert their attention to someone, especially someone who doesn't expect to be put on the spot, it could be not only confusing, it could be very, you can put off your audience, especially the person who's being highlighted, because maybe they don't feel comfortable being the center of attention. You know, we don't really know how people feel because we may or may not know them or know what they're thinking at the time. So be careful about, you know, pointing for your hands. Like, you never know how you might feel. So again, you don't want to draw their attention away from you. You want them to focus on you. And also, if you start creating the attention or the shift in the attention to someone who, again, does not like that spotlight, you're going to make them nervous, and you really don't want to make your audience uncomfortable. All right, the last tip I have for you is don't overdo it. Don't overdo it with your hands. Every second of what you have to say does not need a hand gesture. I don't know what I was doing there, but look how distracting that was. I was even distracted. So again, you are not a bird. You don't need to be flapping away in front of people. So use your hands effectively. When you're using your gesture, it needs to feel natural and it has to have an ease to it. Otherwise, people are going to be more focused on your movement and your hands versus what you have to say, and therefore they're not going to retain the information that you're presenting, which is not good. We don't ever want an audience to walk away talking about how you were moving your hands excessively. We want them to walk away with information that we are providing them, okay? So that is why you're there. So use your hands with thought and take a deep breath. If you're someone who uses your hands too much, take a deep breath and just kind of move with ease and let it flow. All right. So don't overdo it. Don't be a flapping bird on stage.